Today, we're jumping into a concept that, I'm not kidding, could completely change the way you work. It's called deep work. And in a world that's basically drowning in distraction, it's the superpower you absolutely need. So, does this feel familiar? You know that feeling. You're busy all day long, just bouncing between emails, meetings, a million different tabs. But at the end of the day, you have this nagging feeling that you didn't actually get anything important done. You are so not alone. In fact, some studies show that the average office worker gets interrupted something like every 11 minutes. It's a classic symptom of a huge modern work problem. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by calling out the shallow work trap. Then we'll unlock the power of its opposite, deep work. We'll get into why deep focus is the ultimate career move, lay out a super simple playbook to get you started, and then wrap up with the very first step you can take to master this skill. Okay, first up, let's finally put a name to that feeling of being busy but not productive. We're going to call it the shallow work trap, and it's where most of us honestly spend our days without even realizing it. So, what is shallow work? Well, it's all those little non-demanding tasks we do kind of on autopilot. Hitting refresh on your email for the 10th time in an hour, mindlessly scrolling through a social media feed, or sitting in yet another meeting that leaves you thinking, couldn't this have just been an email? The tricky part is, these things make us feel busy, but they don't actually create anything new or push our skills forward. But what's the alternative? This is where things get really interesting. Let's talk about the solution. The incredible power of deep work. I'm telling you, this is the skill that separates the pros from the amateurs in pretty much any field. At its core, deep work is really the exact opposite of multitasking. It's all about zeroing in on one single tough task with zero interruptions. This is that flow state where you produce your absolute best stuff, where you learn hard things fast and where real breakthroughs happen. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, wow. Shallow work is easy for anyone to do. It's mostly about managing things that are already there. But deep work, that's where you create something from scratch, something valuable that has your unique stamp on it. It's hard, for sure, and that difficulty is exactly what makes you and your work so valuable. So you might be thinking, why go through all the trouble of cultivating this intense focus? Well, because the rewards for your career are just massive. Let's break down exactly what you get out of this. When you commit to deep work, you're not just getting more done, you're doing it at a way higher level of quality. This lets you learn difficult things way faster than everyone else, which naturally positions you as an expert, the go-to person. And that expertise, it builds a killer personal brand. But maybe the best part is it leads to this really deep sense of accomplishment and actually reduces that constant work anxiety. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do we actually do it in the real world? Let's get super practical. Here is your deep work playbook. 4 simple rules you can start using pretty much right away. It all starts with your calendar. You have to treat focus time like it's a critical meeting. Literally, schedule it. Second, create a little ritual that signals to your brain, okay, it's time to focus now. Then, the tough one. You've got to strategically cut back on the biggest distraction of our time, social media. And finally, and this might sound weird, you have to learn to embrace boredom. Your brain actually needs that downtime to connect the dots and solve problems. And check this out. It's a perfect example of a focus ritual. Now, you don't have to go book a fancy hotel room, but the idea is the same. Creating a specific environment or a routine, maybe it's putting on certain headphones, clearing your desk, or even just going to a quiet corner of your home. It tells your brain it is time for deep work and nothing else gets in. Whew, we have covered a lot, from the problem of shallow work to the playbook for deep focus. So now, let's just boil it all down to the single most important thing you can do to get started on this journey. So, let's do a quick recap. First, know the difference between just being busy and doing real, valuable work. Second, remember that deep work is what gets you expert-level results. Third, build your practice by scheduling it, creating rituals, and ruthlessly cutting out distractions. And finally, and this is crucial, give your brain time to rest and recharge. And that brings us right here to the final and most important question. This is not about changing your whole life overnight. It's just about starting small. So, what is the one thing? Is it your phone notifications, that extra browser tab, the constant email checking? What is the one distraction you will consciously get rid of for just 1 hour tomorrow to make space for deep work? Your journey starts right there.